You're about to watch a video that's an excerpt of one of my online courses, free sample if you will. If you enjoy it, please get in touch, dan@brojo.org, and let me know what you think. So one thing that's going to come up as you try to be more shameless is inevitably you're going to start getting bad reactions. I use the word bad carefully because that's subjective. You're going to think they're bad reactions. That's not the same as a reaction that's actually harmful. It's important you start to see the difference. When someone reacts in a way that you are uncomfortable with, or that you have categorized in your mind as a bad reaction, it's important to double check, has this actually harmed my life? Are there any wounds? Is my career ruined? Has something bad actually happened to me? Or am I just emotionally uncomfortable with the way they're behaving? Now, regardless of whether their reaction is harmful or not, if you're uncomfortable with it, that's something that needs to be dealt with. Essentially, shamelessness will hinge on your confidence in your ability to handle bad reactions. If you feel certain that you can handle bad reactions, then you'll probably be limitless to expressing yourself, because that's all that really holds us back, our own private subjective definition of a bad reaction. So shamelessness, the practice of it, is largely about building up experience in dealing with negative reactions. The more you deal with them, the more you'll come to trust yourself and believe in your ability to handle them. Because the simple fact is you can handle them. Yes, they might not feel very great when they're happening, but they don't kill you. And the more that you can see that, the more confrontations you're in that you walk out of alive, the more you'll be able to trust yourself. Now, the secret to dealing with bad reactions is to understand that you don't actually have to deal with them. That's the amazing part of this. You put so much pressure on yourself to handle another person's reaction, and your definition of that is probably to make them feel better, to stop them being uncomfortable, so that you stop being uncomfortable. But if you're okay with everyone just being uncomfortable, you'll realize that after you've expressed yourself truthfully, your job is done. You do not have to manage their reaction for them. That's actually their job. It doesn't matter what you've said, how provocative or controversial or shocking or disgusting it is. Their reaction is not your problem, it's theirs. It's actually none of your business. If you really respect them, you'll leave them to deal with their reactions on their own. You won't try to intervene or control and manipulate them. So the best reaction to a bad reaction, the best response, is none at all. And it's what I call going zero. Going zero essentially means allowing them to continue to react without intervening. It doesn't mean running away. It means achieving a kind of passive observational state where you just let them rage and rant and hate and be offended and be whatever they're going to be until they get over it. You don't do anything actively to try and move it forward. You don't try to convince them that they're right. You don't take back what you said or apologize. You don't try to improve their mood in any way. You've already said your truth, so your job is done. Game over already. And now you're just going to stand there like a lighthouse in a storm, just weathering the wind and the rain until it passes. Take a time out. Never respond in the heat of the moment until you're well practiced in doing so. If you can't trust yourself to respond in a rational, logical, easygoing way, then simply don't. Wait until the storm passes before you respond. Always keep remembering, once you've expressed yourself shamelessly, you've done what you needed to do. The truth is now out there. Other people's reactions are their job, not yours. Now, you will feel compelled to respond, and in fact, many people may even put pressure on you to respond. They may ask you questions. They may demand a response. You still don't have to. However, there is some self-development gains in learning how to respond as well. So once you're comfortable going zero, once you're comfortable with silence and you're comfortable just letting people cry and you're comfortable with letting people not like you and you're comfortable with people being offended by your jokes and just leaving them offended, once you're okay with that, you can start to experiment with responding and interacting with them further. But before you do, you need to ask yourself a question. What integrity gains are made from responding? I know it's an awkwardly worded question. The point being is, what do you get out of it? Are you going to practice courage, compassion, connection? Is there a good reason to interact here? Defending yourself against someone who hates you is pointless. You get nothing from that. Defensiveness only reduces your confidence. But let's say you've upset somebody who you really care about, somebody who you want to have a great relationship with. Well, in this case, responding with compassion and curiosity, like, why does that upset you? Or tell me more about how you're feeling, is a great way to continue building the connection. Confrontations that come from being shamelessly honest are often a great way to level up a relationship with someone, to take you guys to a deeper place. Or perhaps you just want to become more courageous with confrontation. So speaking your mind while things are emotional is actually a great development step for you. Even if you kind of don't win the conversation, just fighting the battle is good for you. Just make sure before you respond that you know why you're doing it. You're not doing it to convince the other person. You're not doing it to win. You're not doing it to repair the damage you've done. You're doing it to develop yourself, develop your confidence, develop your strengths. If you come to the conclusion that there is a good reason to do this, then make sure you stay focused on that reason. Even if they are articulate and winning and clever and making you look stupid in front of other people, don't get pulled into the fight. Keep focusing on just being courageous or being honest or being curious or being compassionate, whatever that primary purpose is. If you stay focused on that, you'll often save face. See, the people who try to win arguments are the ones who get humiliated. The people who refuse to fight are often the ones that come out as the victor because the other person looks pathetic for trying to drag them into it. So understand, being shameless, being vulnerable, being humble is actually the best way to win an argument, whereas trying to win an argument is actually the worst way. Finally, if you can't figure out a good reason to respond, the best one I've ever found is curiosity. Trying to understand more. Understand them, understand yourself, understand social dynamics and psychology. Using this confrontational situation to just increase your wisdom about the human species. So what you can do is, when you're going to practice shamelessness, you can take on a frame of, let's see what happens and learn from it. This way you'll always be curious about their reaction, which is probably the best way to de-escalate a bad reaction. If someone is upset or angry or offended by what you've said, if you show that you're deeply curious about why they feel that way and what they're feeling, they will most often reduce their defensiveness and try to kind of meet you halfway and be curious about you too. People only get really defensive when you push against them, when you try to receive them, when you say, tell me more, I want to understand. People tend to open up and it leads to a greater connection. Once you see that shamelessness creates better connections because your reaction is either nothing at all, which is a respect of them and allows them to react, or it's a curious exploration that allows them to get to know you better and you to get to know them better, you'll start to be less afraid of being shameless because you'll see it as a powerful tool for building your courage and building your connections, because that's what it really is. Are you a nice guy or people pleaser who wishes they were more assertive, more honest, and better respected by others? Since 2013, I've been helping people just like you discover their integrity and apply it courageously to build deep and meaningful connections, get respected by others, and become the confident person you've always wanted to be. Imagine being able to speak your mind without worrying what other people will think or worrying that it's the right thing to say, and being able to assertively stand up for yourself and your loved ones. Imagine never feeling the need to apologize for who you are or what you want, and being able to live carefree without shame or the I'm not good enough story in your head. Imagine going to bed knowing that you courageously took every opportunity available to you and you've got no regrets because you always know what you should be doing in every situation. I'm so confident in my ability to help people like you unleash your highest level of self-worth that I give people a free coaching session to test what I'm doing. In this 1-hour session, we will uncover the biggest barrier to your confidence, whether it's an awareness problem, you don't know what you should be doing differently, or it's a courage problem, you know what you should be doing, but you find it too intimidating. I will guide you to make a breakthrough with your behavior to get through that barrier in a powerful way without feeling terrified and without destroying everything you love. I've had some people find this first session so powerful that I never hear from them again simply because they didn't need anything more after that. It launched them into the highest level of confidence that they've ever experienced. And if that's the result you get, I'm good with that. One client put it, this session was more valuable to me than 3 years of therapy combined. So if you're tired of trying to keep everybody happy, and you're sick of worrying what other people think of you, and you're concerned that your people pleasing and conflict avoidance is going to damage your relationships, then come and have a talk with me. Worst case scenario, you get to experience what it's like to talk with someone who actually understands what it's like to be you. I've lived the nice guy experience for decades. I know it inside and out. I know that pain. Case scenario, and very likely, you will have such a powerful insight into a behavioral change that you can make in the next 24 hours to significantly improve your confidence, relationships, and career. All I ask is that you be honest, open to change, and willing to try something new. Why wait another 10 years to discover confidence when you can do it today? Fill out the brief form below to apply for a trial coaching session. Do this quickly because there are limited spots each month, and then I'll get back to you to book in a time to talk.